Santa Clarita, whose name means Little St. Clair in Spanish, is a thriving city in northwestern Los Angeles County, California. With a 2020 population of nearly 229,000, it stands as the third most populous city in Los Angeles County, the 17th largest in California, and ranks 103rd in the entire United States. Just 30 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, Santa Clarita covers over 70 square miles in the Santa Clarita Valley, nestled along the Santa Clara River. Today, it's often described as a classic edge city, or boomburb, growing rapidly while maintaining its own distinct identity. But the story of Santa Clarita's history stretches back thousands of years. Archaeological evidence shows that the valley has been inhabited since around 3000 BC. By about AD 450, the Tataviam people had settled in the region, establishing nearly 20 villages across the valley and nearby areas such as Piru, Agua Dulce, Elizabeth Lake, and Tacananga. They had displaced the earlier Chumash people, leaving behind a cultural imprint that still echoes today. The 18th century brought dramatic change with the arrival of Spanish colonists in Southern California. They established mission settlements, including Mission San Fernando in 1797, just south of what is now Newhall. When Mexico gained independence from Spain in 1822, Alta California, including modern-day Santa Clarita, became part of the new nation. During this period, vast ranch lands defined the area. One of the most significant was Rancho San Francisco, a 48,612-acre land grant issued by Governor Juan Bautista Alvarado to Antonio del Valle, a Mexican army officer. This land served agricultural purposes and supported the nearby Mission San Fernando, shaping the early foundations of Santa Clarita's development. Santa Clarita history: 1822 to 1899 gold, oil, and the birth of Newhall. In 1842, Francisco Lopez made a remarkable discovery in Placerita Canyon, the first documented gold find in California. This historic moment, recorded in a mining claim issued by Governor Juan Bautista Alvarado, predates the famous gold rush at Sutter's Mill by several years. The site, known as the Oak of the Golden Dream, is still a celebrated landmark. Its legacy lives on in the many Golden Oak names scattered across Santa Clarita, from schools to streets and neighborhoods. Just a few years later, in 1848, California was officially ceded to the United States after the Mexican-American War. This shift opened the door for rapid change in the Santa Clarita Valley. Among the notable newcomers was Henry Mayo Newhall, an American businessman who had prospered during the gold rush. He built a successful auction house in San Francisco and invested heavily in railroads. By 1870, his involvement with the Southern Pacific Railroad connected him directly to the development of Southern California. From 1858 to 1861, Santa Clarita also played a role as a key transportation route. The Butterfield Overland Mail stagecoach service passed through the valley, with stations at Lion Station in Newhall and King Station in San Francisco Canyon. During this era, Beals Cut was carved through the Newhall Pass in 1859, allowing easier passage between Los Angeles and the northern valleys. Henry Newhall soon turned his fortune toward land and ranching. He purchased vast tracts of former Spanish and Mexican land grants, eventually owning around 143,000 acres across Monterey and Los Angeles counties. His most influential acquisition was Rancho San Francisco, which later became known as Newhall Ranch. Within this area, Newhall allowed the Southern Pacific Railroad to lay track through Newhall Pass and sold land to build the new town of Newhall. The town was later relocated slightly south in 1879, and the original site renamed Saugus, after Newhall's hometown in Massachusetts. After Newhall's death, his heirs created the Newhall Land and Farming Company in 1883. This company became instrumental in shaping the modern communities of Santa Clarita, including Valencia, Canyon Country, Newhall, and Saugus, developments that still define the city today. The importance of Santa Clarita in railroad history was cemented on September 5, 1876, when Charles Crocker of the Southern Pacific Company drove a ceremonial spike at Lang Station in Canyon Country. This marked the completion of the San Joaquin Valley Line, finally linking Los Angeles with San Francisco and the rest of the nation. At the same time, the Santa Clarita Valley became a pioneer in the oil industry. Entrepreneurs like Andres Pico, Sanford Lyon, Henry Clay Wiley, Darius Towsley, and Christopher Leeming recognized the valley's potential. In 1876, French immigrant Charles Alexander Mentry founded the town of Mentreville near present-day Stevenson Ranch. His Pico No. 4 well became the first commercially successful oil well in the western United States. The nearby Pioneer Oil Refinery in Newhall, California's first viable refinery, processed the crude oil. Today, it holds a place on the National Register of Historic Places, the only such site within Santa Clarita city limits. Though Pico Canyon's reserves declined by the early 1900s, drilling continued in the region, and Pico No. 4 remarkably operated until 1990. Many of Santa Clarita's present-day roads, Pico Canyon Road, Lyons Avenue, Wiley Canyon Road, and Towsley Canyon Road, still carry the names of those early oil pioneers. By the late 19th century, Santa Clarita was not only shaping California's mining and oil industries, but also its culture. The Saugus Café, established in 1886, became a local institution. Located near today's Magic Mountain Parkway and Railroad Avenue, it remains the oldest continuously operating restaurant in Los Angeles County. Santa Clarita history: 1900 to 1987 Hollywood, disaster and development. At the dawn of the 20th century, Santa Clarita became a favorite location for Hollywood studios. Silent westerns and early adventure films were shot in the valley, featuring legendary actors like William S. Hart, Tom Mix, Harry Carey, and even a young John Wayne. Many of the area's famous movie ranches were established during this time, giving filmmakers access to sweeping landscapes just outside Los Angeles. Hart and Carey both settled in the valley, and today their former homes have been preserved as county parks. Industry also shaped the region. From 1934 to 1987, the Whitaker-Burmite Corporation operated a nearly 1,000-acre site south of Soledad Canyon Road, producing and testing explosives ranging from fireworks to bombs. The company even built its first housing tract for employees in Newhall. However, the decades of weapons testing left behind chemical contamination, including perchlorate. Today, cleanup and redevelopment efforts are ongoing. Santa Clarita also endured one of California's greatest tragedies. On March 12, 1928, the St. Francis Dam collapsed just before midnight. The dam's failure sent a wall of water up to 140 feet high surging through San Francisco Canyon and along the Santa Clara River. Within hours, the floodwaters had reached the Pacific Ocean near Ventura, leaving behind catastrophic destruction and claiming 411 lives. It remains the second deadliest disaster in California's history and the worst civil engineering failure of the 20th century. The tragedy forced the resignation of William Mulholland, the famed engineer who had overseen the dam's construction. Other tragedies struck as well. On December 27, 1936, United Airlines Flight 34 crashed into a hillside in Rice Canyon near Newhall, killing all 12 people on board. In 1982, during the filming of Twilight Zone, the movie at Indian Dunes Amusement Park in Valencia, a helicopter accident took the lives of 3 people. Despite these setbacks, Santa Clarita's growth continued. In 1945, the Santa Clarita Union High School District was established, renamed a year later as the William S. Hart Union High School District. The district's first campus was William S. Hart High School in Newhall, honoring the silent film star who had called the valley home. The name Santa Clarita itself began appearing on maps with the Rancho Santa Clarita housing tract in Saugus, built in 1947. Over the following decades, more communities and developments would adopt the name, uniting the region's identity. The city also saw moments of deep social and political unrest. On September 17, 1966, William V. Fowler, leader of the California branch of the Ku Klux Klan, attempted to reignite the KKK with a rally in Soledad Canyon. Expecting thousands, only 30 to 100 people showed up. The event, staged on U.S. Forest Service land, ended with little more than a staged cross-burning and 1 arrest. Another pivotal moment in Santa Clarita history came on April 5, 1970. At a gas station in Valencia, 4 California Highway Patrol officers were killed during a violent shootout with 2 armed criminals. Known as the Newhall Incident, it remains the deadliest attack on law enforcement in state history. The tragedy reshaped policing nationwide, leading to improved training, upgraded weapons, and the widespread adoption of bulletproof vests. As early as 1920, efforts had begun to incorporate the communities of the Santa Clara River Valley. By 1924, a Chamber of Commerce was established in Newhall, with cityhood as one of its stated goals. Though it would take decades for the dream to become reality, the seeds of incorporation were already being planted. Santa Clarita history, 1970s to the present, cityhood, growth, and resilience. Beginning in the 1970s, Santa Clarita residents grew increasingly interested in self-governance. Local leaders like educator Carl Boyer III and businessman H. Gil Callowhill explored the feasibility of incorporating communities such as Newhall, Saugus, and Valencia into a single city. In 1974, voices like Signal newspaper co-editor Ruth Newhall even suggested seceding from Los Angeles County altogether. That year, a committee pushed for the creation of a brand new Canyon County, which would include Acton, Agua Dulce, Gorman, Castaic, Val Verde, Canyon Country, Saugus, Valencia, and Newhall. The proposal went to the 1976 ballot as Proposition F. While a majority of local voters supported the plan, state law required approval from all Los Angeles County voters, and the measure failed countywide. A second attempt, Proposition K in 1978, also fell short despite stronger local support. With county secession off the table, efforts turned back to cityhood. In the mid-1980s, the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce led a new push, with Louis Garassi as chairman and Canyon County veteran Connie Wardens as vice chair. Public meetings revealed mounting frustration over poor infrastructure and the desire for local control. A petition campaign followed, and a formal cityhood application was filed with the Local Agency Formation Commission, LAFCO. While the proposed boundaries initially covered 90 square miles, LAFCO reduced the size to just over 39 square miles, focusing on the core populated areas of Newhall, Saugus, Canyon Country, and Valencia. Finally, on December 15, 1987, the city of Santa Clarita was officially incorporated. The vote passed by a 2-to-1 margin in that year's general election. Alternatives like City of the Canyons and La Mancha were considered, but Santa Clarita narrowly won. The city's first mayor was Buck McKeon, who later served in Congress. In the years that followed, Santa Clarita faced both challenges and triumphs. In 1990, the federal government awarded Cemex a contract to mine sand and gravel in Soledad Canyon, just east of the city. Concerned about pollution, traffic, and damage to the Santa Clara River and Angeles National Forest, city leaders fought the project for decades. Their persistence paid off in 2019, when the Department of the Interior permanently blocked mining. Cemex never extracted a single ton of gravel from the site. One of the city's darkest moments came with the 1994 Northridge earthquake. The powerful quake caused the collapse of the Newhall Pass interchange where Interstates 5 and 14 meet, cutting off key routes. Sierra Highway briefly became the only way in and out of the valley, only to be closed as well. Across Santa Clarita, streets buckled, power went out, water service was disrupted, and oil spills contaminated the Santa Clara River. Shelters opened in Newhall, Saugus, and Canyon Country as the National Guard was deployed. Damages were estimated at nearly $77 million. Still, Santa Clarita pressed forward. By 2006, Money magazine ranked the city 18th among the best places to live in the United States, recognizing its strong schools, planned communities, and quality of life. Tragedy struck again on November 14, 2019, when a student opened fire at Saugus High School, killing 2 classmates and wounding 3 others before turning the gun on himself. The attack, which lasted just 16 seconds, deeply shook the community. Vigils were held the following day at Central Park, honoring the victims and rallying support for survivors and families. Today, Santa Clarita continues to grow. Major developers such as Lennar, Tri-Point Homes, and KB Home have built new neighborhoods including West Creek, West Hills, Aliento, River Village, Skyline Ranch, Vista Canyon, and Five Knolls. Just outside city limits, Five Point is building one of the largest master-planned communities in California, ensuring that Santa Clarita remains one of the fastest-growing areas in Los Angeles County. That brings the Santa Clarita history narrative full circle, from ancient peoples to modern cityhood and beyond. From its earliest Native American settlements and the first gold discovery in California, to its pivotal role in the oil industry, Hollywood filmmaking, and modern cityhood, Santa Clarita's history reflects both the triumphs and challenges of California itself. It is a story of resilience, reinvention, and growth, one that continues to unfold today. If you enjoyed this journey through Santa Clarita history, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to History Love, your go-to YouTube channel for exploring the fascinating stories of the